when you have 85% of the nutrients in the soil have been farmed out, and the very important bacterium in the soil that actually shuttle the nutrients through the root systems to the plants and mycelium has been destroyed, these mycelium networks. Bottom line is that the food is deficient.
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspire conversation. Millions of people all over the world are waking up every morning wondering why they are so tired, why they are depleted. It doesn't seem to matter whether they sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. It doesn't seem to matter whether they drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee or drink energy drinks. They are low on energy, and it is becoming and has become an epidemic. So I wanted to bring back a dear friend of ours, founder of Chemical Free Body, the energy company, Tim James, to talk about this and the solutions that are available to you right now and today. Tim James, thank you so much for joining us again.
My pleasure, John. Thanks for having me back on, brother.
Hey, it's great to have you. You look fantastic. And we talked a few days ago. We texted a few days ago, and you said, so many people have a check engine light on, low energy, low energy, low energy, and they're just trying to drag themselves through another day, another day. And your mission is to help them get that energy back, get that life force back. What have you seen in people, especially over the last years? What's been happening?
Well, there has been some good stuff, but overall, health and people's energy is declining.
Why
It's
is
getting
that?
worse.
Why is that?
Well, if we're going to look at the fundamentals of this, it's just basic nutrition, it's toxicity, and stress. So when you have 85% of the nutrients in the soil have been farmed out, and the very important bacterium in the soil that actually shuttle the nutrients through the root systems to the plants and mycelium has been destroyed, these mycelium networks. These are all these little underground networks of these organisms that work symbiotically with plants. They shuttle nutrients and water and stuff to the plants, and when they're tilled, they're killed. And when they're sprayed with chemicals, they're destroyed. So not only are the nutrients missing, but the vital network that's in there with these mycelium and bacterium has been destroyed too. So the taxi cabs, imagine everybody in New York trying to get around, and there's hardly any taxi cabs. And then also, instead of a bunch of people in New York, all of a sudden there's 30,000 people in New York. That would be the bacterium, right? Or the nutrients, excuse me, the nutrients. So there's way less people, way less nutrients, and there's way less taxi cabs to shuttle them around. There's way less of these mycelium and bacterial networks. Number one is we have this nutrient deficiencies, and then on top
Bottom
line is that it even worse, the food is then deficient.
These nutrient
And
deficient
so when you
foods
consume
grown
that
in
food,
nutrient deficient soils,
even if you ate it fresh out of the ground at that point in that type of soil, you're still going to be 85% deficient, and you're going to be tired, and you're not going to have as much energy. You're not going to have this. People don't understand, John, is we are supposed to be, we're wild creatures. Okay. We should have wild energy, but we don't. And that's why people like drinking coffee, because they get this little woo, and it feels good. It's like, well, guess what? You can have that all day, every day, 365 days a year, right? That's possible.
We forgot that that's actually how we maybe used to feel. Some remember in their childhood they could barely contain themselves. Get out and run and climb trees and climb mountains and have fun, and people just think, oh, it's a sign of getting older, but really it isn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. If you would like that wild, childlike energy back, all you have to do is understand these basic principles and then make a couple little baby step, little changes, little modifications to your lifestyle, right? What to do and stuff. So you have, number one is we have this nutrient deficiencies. And then on top of that, to make it even worse, then these nutrient deficient foods grown in nutrient deficient soils are then highly processed, and more nutrients are driven out of them. The cereals, children's cereal, is the one thing that just drives me absolutely bonkers when I'm talking about this, because they'll take a grain that was grown, let's say Wheaties as an example, because it's made of wheat. Most people understand this because I ate them growing up. And you have this food that is in deficient soil, so it's deficient. And don't even get me started that they sprayed it with glyphosate to cure it faster, and then it starts destroying the intestinal tracts of whoever eats it, including your children. Okay, but we're just focusing on the deficiencies now. And then it is highly processed, pushing out even more nutrients. And then they say it's enriched or fortified. Like, oh, it's fortified, it's strong. Well, what did they fortify it with? Synthetic chemicals made in a laboratory, not from nature. And they think that's the equivalent, and they get you thinking it's the equivalent. So, oh, it's fortified with vitamins A and D. That's good because I know I need vitamins. Yeah, you do, but you don't need synthetic chemicals masquerading as vitamins. And so you see, then we have this processed food thing. So that's one of the big ones right there, man, is like get off the processed foods, go back to whole foods and make sure that are grown in nature and make sure they're grown in really good soils. And that is one huge factor right there to get your energy back.
Tim, you have dedicated your life since your own both sort of dance with death and an episode of awakening to greater truths. You have dedicated your life to helping people. You've helped thousands and thousands and thousands to regain that energy, and that goes hand in hand with regaining their health. It's one and the same thing. And that's what you dedicated your life to. And you have this company, a chemical free body that you turned into the energy company, organic, natural energy. Bring that back, help people get that back. Um, what successes have you seen with your clients over the years? What has changed in their lives? What examples always stick with you?
Well, we the easy ones are the ones that are, well, here, I'll just I'll give you an idea, right? So I have three testimonies because I was just showing you. Here's three testimonies right here. One's from Jennifer. She said, this, she's talking about her organic energy juice. She says, it gives me energy, tastes good, and goes down easy. Renee said, this juice is incredible. The way our body feels and reacts. Thank you for giving us gift and taking our health and power. Another guy was like, first, it tastes awesome. It's easy, and I feel great. Okay, those are some of the basic ones where people they're getting more energy. And why? Because it's replacing that 85% that's missing, and it's doing it very conveniently for them. But the cool ones are the ones where, like, Tim, like, I now have energy to play catch with my son when I get home. Like, and I'm not drinking the beers anymore, right? Um, Tim, I mean, I actually had this one gal, and she's like, she has to have this product. Like, she has to have it. She has to have the juice. She was a all-star, like, basketball player, D1, 4 years, starting like point guard. I watched her. I think she made like 31 3-pointers in a row. I mean, lights out. She was awesome, right? And she started a business in Portland down there. And she was rocking and rolling, making like 700 grand a year with her business. And then one day she was driving back home to Eastern Oregon to visit her parents, and she had to pull the car over, and she had an anxiety attack. Severe anxiety. Her mom and dad had to come get her, and one of them had to drive the car. And then it just kind of went away. Well, fast forward a few weeks later, she's getting ready to go to work, and she has a freaking anxiety attack again. She goes home, and she couldn't go to work, and it started getting worse and worse and worse, where she would be like, not only can't drive to work, but would come back home, nobody in the house, and had to go hide in a closet. Imagine that. And this isn't like we've heard, it's crazy, right? And so I was contacted because through the grapevine because of what I do, and I started talking to her, and I was like, "Well, look here, go here to like Mel Robbins. She's got some really good stuff on anxiety and how you can reposition it, and drink these greens and take your gut detox and stuff." And then she's like, "Oh my god!" And then boom, she was back, no issues, right? Because she had flooded her body with all this nutrition, and she's like, "Well, how does this work? How can I drink this little bag of this stuff and my anxiety going away?" And I'm like, well, I said, I don't honestly know because I'm not a physicist, I'm not a doctor, but from a basic standpoint, when your body becomes deficient and it becomes long-term nutrient deficiencies, then eventually the wheels start to fall off. In some people, it might show up as, leaky gut and gastrointestinal issues. You might have Graves' disease and thyroid issues, Hashimoto's. You might have fibromyalgia and everything's painful, or you might get stage 4 cancer, or you might have migraines. We don't know how it's going to show up. Everybody's going to have a predisposition to a weakness when the walls of the castle have dropped down because they're not truly fortified with natural ingredients from nature. And we are nature, Sean. That is it. If you're suffering right now, the reason why you're suffering with low energy or you're overweight or you have cancer or have all this stuff is because you are detached from the mothership, nature. And there is no blurry line between you and earth. You are one and the same. And once you can understand that, when you think about earth, you think about a tree and the roots in the earth, you kind of think of it one as the same. But because we're detached and we're kind of walking around on this thing, we think that we're different for some reason. But the bottom line is that we're no different than a tree with the roots in the ground.
It's a good analogy. I
No
think
different.
most people are not even walking anymore. They're just
Yeah. Oh,
walking in
and
their
this,
bare feet on the soil, you know? But Tim, what I love about you is you do about 20% of identifying the problem, talking about it because people need to have awareness, but 80% is solution. Okay. Now we know what's missing. What do we do? Because this affects so many. I can't even tell you how many people tell me I wake up, I sleep enough, I think I'm doing the right things, but I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. So where do you start with your clients when they tell you that story?
well, the first thing we do is we try to get them to drink two of these organic energy juices a day. That's it.
So this is your
Because it's
organic
simple.
green juice.
Yeah, yeah. It's very simple. And for those who've been listening for a while, we've recently just changed the name of it. The packages are going to still show up and say Green 85 Juice Formula, but when interviewing 100 people in my local town and asking them what does that mean, nobody knows. So I'm trying to take all the barriers of complication out of everything. We've done it with the flavor. The flavor tastes amazing. I just had another guy today. He's like, I can't believe you've got a home run here. He's like, this stuff tastes unreal.
That's the new
90%.
apple flavor, right?
Yeah, 90% I love it rate. So because I've been trying to get that other flavor down people's throats for like 10 years. We just had our 10th year anniversary. 20% of people love that flavor. 50% will take it with the knowledge because they know how good it makes them feel and how good it is for them. But sometimes they got to do lemon or lime, and people just don't want to do an extra step. So now they don't have to. They just throw it in water and drink it in the morning. Now, here's why this drinking these two juices a day works so well, and it's the beginning for everything. Number one, people are not drinking enough water, and we are mostly made of water. So the average person is drinking about a quart of water a day, a liter. Okay, about the same. You need about 3, and so by drinking a juice in the morning, what are you mixing it with? Water. And if you drink, then you drink the other one about a half an hour to an hour before dinner. What are you putting in your body? More water, right? So now you're getting the water that you need, and that water should be structured, by the way. So you can do that with either, throwing a few chia seeds in it, or making flaxseed water, or running it through one of our Water Hero structuring units. But I'll digress on that topic. But number one, the reason why this works so well is because you're getting more water into your system. Number two, in the morning, you're getting we're getting this analyzed right now. It's about 3 to 5 pounds of vegetable nutrition per scoop. So you're getting 3 to 5 pounds
Wait,
of
wait, wait,
vegetable,
wait, wait. Say that again. You're getting 3 to 5 pounds of
three,
vegetable nutrition per scoop.
per scoop. There's 90 to 150 pounds of vegetable nutrition per bag in our formula.
Damn,
Like,
that
just to give you an example, like wheatgrass juice extract is the number one, and most people maybe not care about this, but it's the number one ingredient, and it's concentrated 21 to 33 to 1 concentrates. Because I know that during the processing of that, it's getting denatured a little bit. It's not like you're chewing it right off the ground and then getting the juice out of it and swallowing it and spitting out the cellulose. So we're trying to make it as close to fresh pressed juice as possible. So you get 3 to 5 pounds of nutrition in the morning. And then what ends up happening is, like, when your body and your cells get that nutrition, the hunger cravings shut off. You're going to eat half as much lunch. You do it again in the after, and you'll get 4 to 6 hours of sustainable energy. Then about 3, 4 o'clock, you hit another one. You more water, more hydration, more 3 to 5 pounds of nutrients again. You shut off the hunger cravings, and you're going to eat a much smaller dinner. Now, why this is important is because the dinner component is huge for sleep. If you have half as much food to eat, you have half as much food to digest, which means you have now the ability to get into REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, much faster. Because if you have stuff digesting in your belly, You are not going to get into that restive, restorative sleep until the digestion is complete. So you might be laying there asleep. You go to bed, let's say, even if you go to bed early, like at 10 or 9 or something, you got food in your belly, you're not getting deep restive, restorative sleep until that's done. Period.
Let me just quickly chime in here because I want to give you a personal testimonial. So I love I caffeine does not really affect me. Never really has. I love the taste of coffee. So here's the thing: if I drink a cup of coffee in the morning, I enjoy the entire cup very much. However, if I drink green juice, which is common, more common than anything, first thing in the morning, your organic energy juice, then an interesting thing happens. It's not just that I'm satiated and I don't crave food whatsoever. It's also that I will usually, if I drink coffee afterwards, usually maybe drink a quarter of the cup. I'm not even interested in that coffee any longer, which is, which is strange. So this is what happens. And you have said to me when I first met you and I first tried that, you said, this is not just going to make you feel really good and help you, be totally balanced. You're
Mhm.
also gonna see your grocery bill come down. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "This is gonna pay for itself." And this is the funny thing. You can't eat but half of what you usually eat. No chance you can eat more. You would really have to force it down your throat because your body doesn't crave food any longer. Like of course, smaller portions, but you can't just stuff your mouth because your body feels satiated. You actually feel good. You feel like, oh, I got everything I need. This is the crazy thing. I've never experienced something like that kicks in so quickly.
Yeah. And for those of you that are skinny and trying to gain weight, it will actually, don't worry about it. It'll help you gain weight too. Like Blake, he runs the a Nature's Pantry grocery store here in town. He wants to gain weight. So he's taking it because whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, you still need all of the building blocks of nutrition in your cells. Period. Right? If you're trying to gain weight, you would be doing other things. You'd be eating high quality fatty acids, doing weight resistance exercise, and you want to have awesome sleep. So how do you get awesome sleep? Go to bed at a consistent time, go to bed early and not be, eating food late. And when you eat half as much dinner, you're going to have better sleep because if you eat food and you're stressed out late, then what ends up happening is you might get 8 hours of sleep, but you wake up exhausted. That is called shallow sleep syndrome, and that is the fastest way to gain weight. Boy, are you going to gain weight on that. You're going to have a really hard time losing weight until you get your sleep dialed in. So it's very important. These things are all connected, just like your oral microbiome is connected to your neural system, your cardiovascular system, and your gut microbiome. Your sleep, what you put in your mouth, what you eat, what you drink, all these things are connected. So when you do these 2 green juices or organic energy juice a day, then what you're doing is you're getting more water, you're flooding your body with the nutrition it needs twice a day. Your cells get what they need. They shut off the hunger cravings. You eat half as much food and then you sleep better. And now you have the ability to lose weight, gain muscle, and wake up rested and restored fully so that you can take on your day. And we've interviewed tons of people in our inner circle and we asked them what was the one thing that you did that started it was the biggest thing on your transformation. They all say it was those 2 juices a day.
That's exactly what I'm observing because we're giving the organic energy juices away all the time to our friends, like always. And there's an interesting thing I wanted to ask you about time and expectation, right? Because in today, like when you drink an energy juice, like you would like, or an energy drink, a lot of people get this kick, and then they get the crash. This is nothing like that. So there are initial effects that you have, and then there are sort of after a few weeks effects, and then after months. What happens in those time periods? What can people expect?
Well, it's different for everybody. But a majority of people, when you take it on an empty stomach, you're going to feel that natural energy for about 4 to 6 hours. You'll feel actually within about 20 minutes. Some people might not notice it as much. For those, because we're very tolerable where we're at right now. Because remember, we forgot what it's like to be that wild young creature like we were when we were little. We're running around, jumping, climbing trees, and doing the stuff like you were mentioning. So I've had a few people I had this one guy who was like runs triathlons, and he took it for 30 days, and I followed up with him, and then this was right when I got started, and he's like, yeah, I didn't really notice much. It didn't do much for me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, what do you say? I'm like, there isn't one thing in the world that's for everybody except for maybe love. Okay, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then 2 weeks later, he called me up. He's like, dude, he's like, I didn't he goes, "I need to get some more of that stuff." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, I'm like, "You told me you didn't want it." And he's like, "I didn't realize it was kind of it did give me more energy, but when I came off of it, then my energy levels dropped, and I've been wondering what the hell is different." And then it was like, "Oh, it was that juice. It was that juice I was thinking." And again, all he was doing was replacing these vital nutrients that are missing from the soil that are not in our food chain anymore. Like this type of supplementation is not a luxury anymore. It is an absolute necessity if you want to have a high vibe, vibrant life. If you want to continue on this deficiency wagon that everybody's on, stimulating themselves with these toxic energy drinks, and a lot of them are in cans too, and coffee. And most of the coffee, like we teach people how to drink coffee healthfully, but 95% of people are drinking toxic, moldy, chemical sprayed coffee, very acidic. The L-theanine's been pushed out of it. So now that leads to memory loss and Alzheimer's and dementia. I mean, it is scary. And the Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss is skyrocketing. And almost everybody in town here that's my age, a lot of these kids are moving back from high school. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. They're taking care of their parents and they're losing their minds. And a lot of it has to do with, aluminum cookware and coffee and who knows what else.
You you
So,
you said something that we talked about. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, people thought supplements were a luxury. It was like an add-on. In our world today, with every all the problems you described, it's not a luxury, it's an essential. We don't like that it's that way, and we're collectively working to return to a state where food gives us what we need. But this is the bridge of how we get there. And so to me,
well, let me
it's
let me let me retract that statement, okay? Let me say this. Proper supplementation,
yes, yes,
proper
yes,
whole food,
yes.
herbal-based, natural, nature-based, no synthetics, chemical-free, no toxins, no heavy metals, no harmful organisms, no salmonella, no E. coli, none of that stuff.
Wh
Pure,
Why do
raw,
you think you're here?
concentrated nature.
We only work with the best. We only
Yeah.
recommend to our beautiful audience the stuff that our family takes, nothing else. We would never, ever recommend anything else. That's why we have you on.
But it blows people's minds because there's so many people out there that are like against, you know, like big pharma, right? And they're really against that. Yet they go buy a vitamin from GNC or from Walmart or online or whatever, and it's made by the very same corporations. It's just wrapped in a little label from, oh, it's Mary and John, the hippies, milk thistle, you know. And then, but if you actually read it and you get to the ingredients and the other ingredients, it's like the quality of it's not very good. And if you look at I just went and I went to Walmart yesterday because I had to get some adult diapers for my dad, and I went, let me look at the supplements, and I looked at the price ranges on most of them. Most of them are like 10 to maybe $35. They're a very low range, right? Because that's people are trying to save money. Money's tight. Things are tough, right? And the quality of these things, and I was just going through label after label after label, and I'm just like crap, 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 crap. And there were some of them that were kind of okay, but it is what it is. It's this big facade, and then you pick these things up and you buy them, and you're still giving the pharmaceutical companies money
S with
for synthetic nutrients, the same stuff that we were just talking about in the cereal.
With your organic energy juice, like I said before, I thought honestly when you first told me that this is a good marketing scheme to say, "Hey, this pays for itself." But this thing actually does pay for itself. You give it a month, you give it 2 months, and you're gonna see it because
Yeah.
you won't need the same amount of foods. It's impossible, and hence you don't buy as much, and then that becomes sort of, the supplementation. It's very easy. I would really, really hope that people give it a try because it's made a tremendous difference in
Well,
so many people's
nobody
lives.
believes it. I'm telling you right now, I've talked to a bunch of people. I've been saying this for over a year. Nobody believes me when I say that until they experience it, and then they're always like, "You were right. I can't eat as much. I'm only eating half as much." Like, they have this aha moment, and they're like, because they thought I was BSing them.
Yeah, I thought
Everybody thinks that
same.
I'm BSing them. I'm like,
Same
"No, it's
here.
basic principles. This is just common sense."
N
But it's
Same here because we've tried things before and they've had an effect, but nothing like this. This is like what the Harma companies sort of promise you with their shitty products is it's going to suppress your appetite. But this is not about suppression. This is satiation. Your body already has what it needs. So it's fine. It took me a few months of experience to really have that truth, sort of as an
Yeah.
experience. So I vouch for this. This is true. When I drink the green juice, I literally, I'm not hungry for 6 hours. I don't want breakfast. I don't even want lunch. I'll eat sometime in the afternoon. That's it. So, I would just encourage everyone to give it a try. Where can they go? Where can they find out more? Where can they keep up with you, Tim?
Chemicalfreebody.com forward slash inspired. My head's already in Mexico. I want to go to the beach. We have a plan. We're heading down there for a business trip, but yeah, just chemicalfreebody.com forward slash inspired. And you can also find me on Instagram at chemicalfreebodyguy. And we're here for you. We have a mission, and our mission is to help 100,000 people get their energy back by January 1st, 2028, because we think it is absolutely ludicrous, insane, stupefying. We don't understand why other people are drinking these toxic energy drinks that cause the sugars and the crashes and all this stuff. We just want to eliminate all that and give people a place where they can go, where they can get some products that they actually trust, that work and that deliver results.
I love it. Tim, thank you. Thank you for your tireless. You're one of those tireless pioneers that's always finding better ways to help people, always improving on that. I appreciate that and everything that you do. Inspired Tribe, please hop over to chemicalfreebody.com /inspired. Check it out. Get your organic green juice. It's worth it, and you'll see the difference. And of course, check out the other amazing products. It's all high quality. We can vouch for that. Tim, I look forward to our next conversation. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me on.
And Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.